I was living in Long Island, and I had an elderly uncle living with me because he had dementia, and it was getting worse progressively fast. Anyway, no matter what I did, I couldn't convince him to go watch television in the bedroom where a TV was. He wanted to stay in the kitchen, and he would doze off, and I was afraid he was going to fall off the chair and hit the floor. Eventually, that night, that's exactly what happened. And I called 911. The policeman and the ambulance driver didn't want to take him to the doctors or the hospital because they didn't want to force anyone to go to the hospital if they didn't want to go. Finally, since they couldn't maneuver his body, we did go to the hospital. And I took a long, arduous process just admitting him in emergency. On the way home from the hospital, while they were testing my uncle, I was so depressed and so upset because I was recuperating from an operation and not feeling well at all, that I was arguing with God. I said, why is it people have family, friends, neighbors, strangers helping them at a time of stress, but not me? When the things are absolute worst, I'm always alone. I am always alone. I have no help. And then suddenly I heard a word coming from deep within me in a very soft, gentle voice saying, you didn't need anyone else but me. And by the time I got in the house, I realized that was Jesus talking to me. And I felt very special and very strange, but I felt Jesus had talked to me. 10 years later, I'm here in Lewisburg, Pennsylvania, and I came with 2 dogs and 2 cats. As I pet one of my dogs an afternoon, I felt a very slight bump at the bottom of her rib cage. And the next week, that bump was slightly bigger. So I was uncomfortable. I took the dog to the vet, and he confirmed that it was a tumor and he should be operated on. But he could not tell me what it was, how bad it was, because it could be under the rib cage, and he had no way of knowing unless he opened her up. So we had her operated on, and after the operation, waiting to hear what the vet was going to tell me, one of the girls at the veterinarian said, look, the doctor wants to talk to you. Why don't you come in the back room? As I was ushered in the back room, which was very small, with a 2-seater couch, a box of tissues, and a book that said, when your best friend dies, I got such bad feelings. And I spoke to Jesus. I said, Jesus, you see, you said I didn't need anyone else but you, but here I am alone. I am alone. I feel bad things are about to happen. I need, forgive me, I'm human. I need someone to hold my hand. I need someone to give me a hug. This is terrible. Just then the door opened and the veterinarian came in and he confirmed our worst fears. She was in so much pain. She would not have survived that week. So I had her put to sleep then. And my heart was breaking because that was the dog I had seen playing across my backyard, chasing a rabbit, not more than 3 hours before. Anyway, I was so upset. And I came home and I figured I was going to have to tell my other animals, but they knew. They absolutely knew. My other dog, Annie, was so sad and she just threw herself on the grass. So I picked her up and we went to the park to feed the ducks. But that was a futile effort. Within 3 minutes, we came back. On the way, a minister said, Rosemary, how'd the operation go? And I told him, and he stuck his hand in the passenger side, the window of the passenger side, grabbed my hand held it tight and said the most beautiful prayer. Very apropos. It touched my heart and went right to the marrow of my bones. It was beautiful. Then further on the way home, my neighbor was taking things in from a garage sale. And on the table were 4 statues of angels. It was a set. The angels were about a foot high. So I pulled the car over, I bartered with her, and I said, would you help me to get the angels in the car? I took 2, she took 2, and we were going to put the angels in my car. And then she says, Rosemary, why are you so sad? And I told her, and she grabbed me and hugged me and squeezed me and hugged me for a big, long hug that I could barely catch my breath. And she said her dog wouldn't die with the needle, and they kept giving it to her dog, and he wouldn't die. And she knows very well how I feel. And both of us hugged each other. But what ran through my mind was, I asked Jesus for someone to hold my hand. I asked Jesus to give me a hug, and he gave me more than I asked for. Thank you, Jesus.